I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 9:03 a.m. My name is Fritz Friedman. I'm Chair of Public Arts Commission for the City of San Diego. We're going to do a quick roll call to confirm committee member attendance. When I call your name, please say present. Commissioner Abe Hughes,
Present.
Andrew Alcacid, not here. Amy Sartiaga. Not
Present.
here. Huh?
Present.
Oh, that's right. So, okay. Commissioner Doan is not.
Yes.
here. Oh, you just came, you snuck in.
Snuck in.
Oh, for God's sakes. All right, so he's here. Francisco M.A. Okay, Wayne Holton,
Here.
Dr. Rachel Jans,
Here.
Commissioner Keith Opstad,
Present.
Commissioner Imani Robinson,
Present.
Dr. Rogers. Thank you for your attendance. It has been noted. Non-agenda public comment. We will now move to non-agenda public comment. The public was invited to submit public comment on agenda and non-agenda items via a web form accessible through the agenda and the commission's website. Members of the public may also join this meeting in person and as webinar attendees via the web form, which you must fill. Staff will read aloud public comment submitted per city public comment protocol. I will call on Chuck to read aloud any non-agenda public comment or to call on any attendees who would like to provide comment.
Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. No non-agenda public comments submitted in writing. So for those members of the public who are joining us, if you'd like to provide non-agenda public comment, please fill out a speaker slip. Looks like it's all agenda comment we're anticipating, and currently no virtual attendees.
Thank you. So let's go into the chair's reports. First, commission business. As I said, welcome. Good morning, everyone. At October's meeting of the full commission, the Public Art Commission's committee's recommendation of Leah Goodwin and Imani Robinson as two of the 5 artist selection panelists for the Emerald Hills Park Public Art Project was carried forward. We look forward to more about that project as it develops. No further updates at this time. Second action item, the October 9, 2025 Public Arts Committee meeting minutes. I hope everyone had an opportunity to read those riveting notes. And I see that MA is here. Mr. MA, let me write that down. There we go. So as we go forward with those minutes, I'd like to ask if there's someone here who would like to move to accept those minutes. Yes, thank you. We have a yay or acceptance from Keith Opstad. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Robinson. We now have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Or no corrections or anything? Okay, now we'll take a vote. I'll call your name and you will respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Remember that you do not need to have been present at the October meeting to discuss. Commissioner Hughes?
Yay.
Andrew Alcacid is not here. Amy Artiaga? No? Yes.
Yay.
Commissioner Doan?
Yay.
Mr. M.A.?
Yay.
Mr. Holton?
Yay.
Dr. Jans?
Yay.
Commissioner Opstad?
Yay.
Commissioner Robinson?
Yay.
Dr. Rogers is not here, and my vote is a yay. Thank you. Now we'll go to the other reports. I'd like at this time to introduce our new Assistant Deputy Director of Cultural Affairs, Rachel Lang. There she is. Who in this role, Ms. Lang will be supporting the city's cultural and creative programs and helping advance key initiatives within the department. She brings more than 20 years of experience in communications, public relations, and community engagement. Ms. Lang most recently served 4 years as Director of Communications in the Office of Mayor Todd Gloria, and previously as Deputy Press Secretary for Mayor Sanders. She has held several leadership roles in communications and public relations across the private, civic, and nonprofit sectors. She began her career in journalism, working as a writer and editor for several San Diego publications. Ms. Lang earned a Bachelor of Science in Journalism from Boston University. She is known for building meaningful community connections, advancing civic initiatives, and leveraging communication strategies to strengthen organizations and public programs. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Lang to the team. And I'd like to invite Ms. Lang to say a few words if she like.
Sure. Thank you. I don't know if I need the microphone. Thank you for welcoming me. I appreciate it. I've been really well welcomed by everybody in the arts community and have already had lots of meetings and expect to have more. Obviously, I'm here to create a environment for artists where they have the space and the opportunity to share their work, to create their work and share their work, where San Diegans and visitors are aware of and have access to arts and cultural offerings, and where our entire city our region really shares a broad sense of the importance of thriving arts and culture and abundant cultural offerings. So we have an excellent roadmap in the Creative City plan, and there's a really strong commitment by the city's leadership and I think our whole community to implementing it. I have lots of ideas, but I welcome yours. My mind is open, my door is open. Please reach out to me, rlang@sandiego.gov. I want to hear from you. I want to meet with you. I want to visit your galleries, your workspaces, your favorite places. So open door, please reach out. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lang. We look forward to working with you as well. And I'd also like to acknowledge that Andrew Alcacid is here, right? So I have you down. Chuck, please read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing, or call on any attendees who would like to provide comment for this item at this time.
Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. No comments submitted in writing. Currently have no speaker slips for this item and no virtual attendees.
Thank you. Let's go to the second action item, artwork acquisition proposal, donation of artwork by Michael Leaf from the San Diego AIDS Memorial Task Force. But before then, we'd like to do a conflict of interest disclosure. The recommendation affects contracts with the San Diego AIDS Memorial Task Force and artist Michael Leaf. Please assess whether you have conflicts to disclose when I call your name. If you have no conflicts, state no conflicts. If you do have a conflict, please recuse yourself from discussion and voting on the action item. Commissioner Hughes,
No conflict.
Mr. Alcacid, Ms. Arteaga,
No conflict.
Commissioner Doan,
No conflict.
Mr. M.A.,
No conflict.
Mr. Holton,
No conflict.
Dr. Jans,
No conflict.
Commissioner Opstad,
No conflict.
Commissioner Robinson.
No conflict.
Okay, and I have no conflict. Thank you. I'd like to call on Chuck to read any public comment for this item that was submitted in writing, and I will also call on any attendees who would like to provide comment for this item.
Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. No comments submitted in writing. Currently, no virtual attendees. I'll start with Mickey Lochner. So if you'd like to provide comment, please come up to the lectern and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Mikey Lochner, and I'm a person living with AIDS, and I'm a member of the AIDS Memorial Task Force. The artwork that is being that was created by Michael Leaf, it provides a way to remember individuals lost. It promotes education and awareness about HIV and AIDS. It fosters emotional healing and community. Creating these works provides a means for emotional healing and allows for a sense of community among those affected by the epidemic. We live in America's finest city, and for the longest time, we've not had an AIDS memorial. I know that there was an AIDS Memorial Task Force in the 90s that tried to create an AIDS memorial, and that fell through. And then under the leadership of Nicole Murray Ramirez and Catherine Faulkner, there was a new AIDS Memorial Task Force, and this artwork really means a lot to the HIV community, especially during these troubling times with what's going on in Washington, D.C., when we're hearing from the president that he wants to cut prevention funding, he wants to cut research, he wants to cut Part C, D, and F of the Ryan White Care Act. Those are vital services that are needed to end the epidemic, and he wants to do away with that, basically getting rid of people with HIV and AIDS. And that's atrocious. And so here in San Diego, by having this artwork, it gives us as a place to go, and we can sit there and see our loved ones' names and really reflect on what we've lost. But at the same time, it's a living memorial. It's a living artwork because it provides those of us that are still alive a chance to really say, hey, I live in a community that really cares about me. They don't look down on me because I'm HIV positive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Nicole Murray Ramirez.
Good morning, buenos dias. My name is Nicole Murray Ramirez. I'm Chair of the San Diego AIDS Memorial Task Force. I also chair the San Diego Human Relations Commission, and I congratulate you, Mr. Chair. You have great attendance. I wish our commission had such good attendance.
Thank you.
That's okay. The task force was first established by Mayor Susan Golding and reestablished by Mayors Kevin Faulkner and then our current mayor, Tar Gloria. Until last year, San Diego remained the only major city in the United States not to have an AIDS memorial. Over 10,000 men, women, and children have died of AIDS in the San Diego region. The San Diego AIDS Memorial is especially important to many San Diegans because it has become a place where people who lost family members, friends, partners can go and thus have a place to remember them, because many of their deaths were hidden or denied. In these early dark years of AIDS, even many churches refused to bury them. Upon hearing that their sons had died of AIDS and were gay, many parents refused even to accept their sons' ashes, their remains. To this day, there are individuals I know that still have the ashes of their friends. One AIDS agency's executive director had almost a dozen. The AIDS Memorial in this beautiful park has become a place to remember, mourn, celebrate. It is also a memorial where the San Diego HIV/AIDS organizations, doctors, healthcare activists are remembered. The history and story of AIDS in San Diego is remembered and is told. Founders of AIDS organizations are remembered, like four outstanding women: Susan Jester, founder of San Diego AIDS Walk; Lori Leonard and her mother, founders of Mama's Kitchen; and Ruth Hendricks, founder of Special Delivery. The memorial tells the stories of courageous doctors and healthcare givers. It tells the story of our assistance and support of those in Baja California, Mexico. As you all know, AIDS has no borders. It tells the story also in Spanish. Yes, it tells the story of a community that's going to funerals and memorials every week became a way of life for us. I've had the honor to have led this ongoing project for over 35 years, and we are beyond thankful for acclaimed artist Michael Leaf, who I believe God sent us. And our Vice Chair, Bob Lehman, Executive Director of the San Diego Museum Council. Some of the members of our task force are here. I hope that you accept this artwork. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there any other public comment? I think that concludes public comment.
Okay, so Chuck, do you want to provide an overview of the proposal and the staff recommendations?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Friedman. Good morning, committee members. So today's action item differs somewhat from the types of projects that you've weighed in on thus far, which for this particular group have all been city commissioned projects. So from time to time, the city has acquired artwork for the Civic Art Collection through a donation process. As stipulated by municipal code, the commission and subsequently the Public Art Committee shall make recommendations regarding any acquisition into the Civic Art Collection, whether it's commissioned by the city or donated by an outside party. So the main way this process differs is that with the city commissioned work, there are several presentations during the artwork development process where the Public Art Committee will weigh in. Whereas in this case, staff has worked with the potential donor in developing this application and proposal. And this committee's job today will be to determine whether, in your expert opinion, you believe the proposal meets the city's accession criteria, which you have in front of you for reference. So in my presentation today, I'm going to highlight the key points of consideration, but be aware that everything I go over today is included in detail in the staff report in your packets. Just to note, the order of my presentation may differ somewhat from the order of the staff report. So I'll start by saying that Cultural Affairs received a donation application from the San Diego AIDS Memorial Task Force. The donor is proposing a gift to the city of San Diego that includes a site-specific artwork to be installed on the railings of the Olive Street Park San Diego AIDS Memorial located at 2772 3rd Avenue in Bankers Hill. Cultural Affairs staff evaluated the application utilizing the artwork accession criteria and site selection contained in the City of San Diego Department Instruction. And the results of Cultural Affairs staff analysis include, with respect to relevance to the collecting mission, the artwork demonstrates an acceptable level of creativity of the artist, thus providing an aesthetic and cultural experience for San Diego's residents and visitors. The sculpture would serve as a site-specific commemorative artwork in the presently existing Olive Street Park San Diego AIDS Memorial. The artist lives and works in San Diego County. Due to the placement of the artwork on a significant feature of the park, the artwork may serve to balance urbanization and development with humanizing elements. And as far as relevance to the scope of the collection, the artwork falls within the scope of the collection in object type as well as chronological and geographical origin. The artist is not currently represented in the Civic Art Collection. So just to give a brief description of what you see in the image, a red aluminum ribbon weaves in and out of the deck of the handrail overlooking the First Avenue Canyon, symbolizing continuity, remembrance, and resilience. The design draws inspiration from the original red ribbon created in 1991 by the Visual AIDS Artists Caucus to express compassion for people living with AIDS. The color red was chosen for its powerful connection to blood and passion, representing both love and anger, and serves as a universal emblem of awareness, solidarity, and hope. Regarding its relationship to the site, the artwork is proposed to be sited on the railings of the Olive Street Park, as I mentioned. The artwork will serve to complete the donor's vision for the AIDS Memorial, which presently includes memorial borders and interpretive panels placed throughout the park, containing the history of the AIDS crisis in San Diego and honoring the many people and organizations who served those living with AIDS. Additionally, the artwork will also serve to beautify the overlook and surrounding community. Regarding community feedback, the artwork will comprise the final component of a community advocacy effort spanning decades, efforts beginning no later than 1994 that led to both the establishment of Olive Street Park and the San Diego AIDS Memorial. And the commemorative significance, the donor has indicated that the Olive Street Park San Diego AIDS Memorial and the proposed donation of artwork will together serve as a permanent testament to the resilience, courage, and compassion of those affected by AIDS in our community. The nearly 10,000 San Diegans who have died of AIDS, and the tireless work of those who have dedicated their lives to ending this epidemic. With respect to the artist and the selection process, the donor established an arts committee to evaluate and recommend an artist for the project. After a review process, the Arts Committee presented a final recommendation to the task force for submission to the city. The selected artist was chosen based on the strength of their design concept, the quality and scope of their professional portfolio, and their demonstrated history of artworks commissioned or selected by the County of San Diego. And regarding significance, if accepted by the city, given the importance of the site, the artwork would be a significant public commission for the artist. The artist has gone to great lengths to collaborate with the donor, and the resulting artwork should be understood in this context. The artist has completed both public and private artwork commissions throughout San Diego County. So these next slides give you some construction details of how the ribbons will be attached. They'll be sort of on the deck side and the canyon side of the rail at intervals to give the illusion of interweaving along the rail. It'll be, the materials will be powder coated aluminum. In addition to that, and then fastened with stainless steel fasteners that will include rubber washers and bushings to prevent any galvanic reactions between the steel and the aluminum. There will also be a plaque incorporated into the ribbon design with some details about the memorial and the artwork, as well as a QR code to go to a living portion, a website that is a living portion of the artwork, which will include a list that will be regularly updated of those San Diegans who have died of AIDS. So this just gives you some details on the plaque and the ribbon construction. And then just some additional details with respect to the installation on the railing. Just to go over a few additional criteria points regarding ownership, the city owns the Olive Street Park San Diego AIDS Memorial, which is the recommended siting for this artwork. Regarding public safety, if the artwork is installed properly on the railings, i.e. methods and materials safe for the public, it is unlikely to pose hazards or threats to public safety or public health, and or is unlikely to pose a potential liability for the city in any other way. The artwork components will be fabricated off-site and mechanically fastened to the railing in a manner allowing for deinstallation if necessary. Regarding security, the city is patrolled by the San Diego Police Department. Olive Street Park is administered and closely monitored by the city's Parks and Recreation Department. Regarding maintenance, upon acceptance, the city will be responsible for ordinary and extraordinary maintenance and conservation. The artwork is made of resilient materials, and the construction scale and location of the artwork allows for relatively simple conservation and maintenance. Regarding legal and ethical considerations, if the donation of artwork is approved, it will be formalized in a deed of gift and or agreement between the donor and the city. The donor has indicated that the artist will provide a royalty-free license to reproduce images of the artwork for non-commercial purposes. The artist will be required to agree to the terms of the city's Standard Visual Arts Artists' Rights Act and California Arts Preservation Act waivers. And as per the cost, if the donation is accepted, the donor will be responsible for the costs of the initial transportation and installation of the artwork. Regarding resources, Cultural Affairs staff is available to provide administrative services to the donor in order to execute a deed of gift and or agreement. And regarding adherence to plans, the city adheres to the existing community plans and land use plans, such as the city's general plan. So Evaluation criteria, the Public Art Committee will use to decide to whether to recommend to the commission that the City of San Diego Cultural Affairs accept the proposed donation may include all or some of those given in the San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture Department instruction, which you have for your reference along with your packets. And the City of San Diego Cultural Affairs will consider the recommendation from other relevant city staff, the Public Art Committee, the Commission, and any other pertinent stakeholders before making the final decision on whether to accept the proposed donation. So with that, today's recommendation, staff recommends that PAC, or the Public Art Committee, recommend to the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture that the City of San Diego Cultural Affairs accept the proposed donation of an artwork for inclusion into the Civic Art Collection and for installation on the railing of the Olive Street Park San Diego AIDS Memorial Overlook at 2772 3rd Avenue upon fulfillment of 6 conditions. And those conditions are all other city departments that are stakeholders, i.e. Parks and Recreation, indicate support and approvals for the installation and exhibition of the artwork on the railing. The donor, San Diego AIDS Memorial Task Force, agrees to donate the artwork as a gift to the city. The San Diego AIDS Memorial Task Force and Michael Leaf agreed to modify fabrication, transportation, and installation plans if requested by the city to address any safety, liability, environmental, and accessibility issues. Donor and artist supply city with a maintenance instruction manual in a format to be determined by cultural affairs staff. The artist and copyright holder agrees to grant the city a non-exclusive, irrevocable, and royalty-free license to reproduce the artwork for all standard city educational, public relations, tourism, and arts promotional purposes. And finally, the artist agrees to the city's standard Visual Artists' Rights Act and California Art Preservation Act waivers. So that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Chuck, is this, when you ask for questions, if people have comments about the project, do they ask you or do they ask the artists and the people who bring it forth?
You can direct them. Yeah, so if you'd like to, if you have a comment for or a question for, or if committee, let me put it this way, if committee members have a question for the artist who is present, perhaps they could go through you and you
Yeah.
could address the artist.
I think what we'll do is, let's go and thank you for the presentation, everyone. And perhaps at this time, I'd like to acknowledge the motion. And I'd like to see if members here, if a person would, before we go into the Q&A, according to the protocol of this, is there someone who would move to accept this recommendation? Do I hear a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
I
so-
move to accept this
okay,
motion.
Okay, and do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay, so now that we have a motion and a second, let's have a little discussion. I have a few comments I'd like to make before we start. First of all, just for the sake of the audience here, we have a presentation screen in front of us here, so we're not, if some of us are not looking at the presentation behind us, it's not that we're being rude, we have it right here. So I think this is terrific. I would like to ask, in the content of the information that is presented at the site, both on the QR code as well as on the actual signage that you have there, do you also acknowledge the fact that women and children were also victims of AIDS, not just men? Because I think on a personal note, that's important to me because my mother died of AIDS, strangely enough, sadly, and you get very few women acknowledged with AIDS and children these days. People forget that. She was, just so you should know, she was an emergency room nurse and she cut her finger with an infected needle. And that's how she became infected with HIV. This was back in '89, so early on in the game. So I think I'd like to see that happen.
I can answer that.
Yes.
In my remarks, I pointed out for women, they're very, those of us that have gone through that crisis, especially the dark years, women play an unbelievable. We consider them unsung heroes while some Salages, they roommates throughout their roommate who had AIDS, women, which they couldn't write in and stuff. So we actually have a section where.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. That's wonderful. For the artists, I'd like to know with this design, is there some sort of means of preventing graffiti on the ribbon? Because, people get funky about that sort of thing. So, yeah, come on. Or you can go to the mic if you want. Oh, do it right there. Do it wherever you want. You got the floor.
I have a loud voice, so it's like proxy. Yes, so I've been talking with Chuck on that. There's anti-graffiti coatings we can apply to all surfaces. I had another side thought on that I want to soundbar with him, but those are all being taken into account.
Right.
Sure.
Okay, good. It's a beautiful design. I mean, I really like the way it looks. How long do you think it's going to take to make this once it's approved? And is there a timeline?
I have that in the notes that I've exchanged with Chuck. Give me a second to find
That's
that
okay. You can come back
in my
and,
catalog.
yeah, when you have it.
Yeah, let me come back to that, but I see the fabrication. I feel like it's landing around 5 to 6 weeks from start. Like I
Oh.
get the green light, then I get about a 6-week till we can start installation.
That's terrific. Good. All right.
It's-
Chuck, you mentioned donors. Who are the donors?
The donors is the San Diego AIDS Memorial Task Force.
Okay, good. Those are all my questions. Does anyone else have any? Yes, Commissioner Hughes.
I've got a question. I'm not sure who to direct it to, whether the artist or to the AIDS Memorial Foundation. But in regards to the content that is going to be displayed here in the QR code, will we have an ability as a city to review that content and make sure if it's updated, if it's added, if it's current, or if there are things that are on there that perhaps don't meet our standards, or perhaps even if somebody hacks into the system, because it could be a target, that we can go in and intercede. If Chuck or Christine can walk me through that, because I think that's going to be an integral part of this whole artwork, is the information and the documentation and the personal stories, as it says. So I'm curious about that part.
Oh, yes, this is something that we've been working with Michael and the task force on. And the terms of that would be defined in the deed of gift as well, to ensure that the website is maintained and the city has discretion with respect to its content.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about quelling free speech or anything like that, but it's making sure it's appropriate. And importantly, if it does get hacked, we can go in and alter that.
Yes, Commissioner Ofsted.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of things. First off, for something that's been in the making for over 35 years, it's about darn time. And just want to say thank you for the presentation, and it is well long overdue. As far as the technical aspects, I noticed at least 3 light sources, which helps prevent the graffiti and things like that in the original design. It's ADA compliance, so it's like check, check, check as far as public art. But what about the tree type and the water, the sustainability? I don't want to assume anything, but I'm guessing something native because it's right smack dab in the middle of the sculpture. Can that be addressed, Chuck?
Oh, yeah. Well, to clarify, this overlook is currently existing. So the only aspects of this rendering are the artworks along the railings. So this is everything else is a photograph of current conditions. So, yeah.
And so if I can speak to current conditions. So in that photo, Wayne Holton from Doma Studio Architecture, that's our building and office immediately adjacent to the site. So we've seen this thing go up from day one. In fact, just a quick little history backstory. When the plan design first was announced, KTUA was the landscape architecture firm that the city contracted with to do the park design. Anyway, long story short, as it developed, and Mayor Faulkner at the time said that when they sold that AIDS hospice on Laurel Street, the money would go to this park if it incorporated an AIDS memorial. Some of the local planning design groups did a competition We found out about it 2 days before it was due. We did a plan, submitted it, they posted them, and ours got the most votes. So if you've ever seen the plan of the park from above, the walkway connections to the public way and out to the deck and looping back is the age ribbon in plan. Everybody jumped all over that and loved that, and it was ultimately incorporated. So this outlook and the layout of the plan park, we feel like we had an important part in it. I know there were discussions about AIDS Memorial and sculpture or how to recognize and or names put on it as it was designed. What's incorporated right now on the railing, right below the upper handrail, is a band with cutouts of the age ribbon representing one of each for all the people that had passed away. So with that said, looking at this, we had a couple comments from a design standpoint, and we agree that I think the concept and the idea and the need is very important and should be expressed beyond just some of the boulders and the signage that's there. Fritz already brought up our first thought of the panel. It doesn't look like a ribbon, it looks like a panel, and it's just ripe for graffiti. That can be taken care of as you've talked about. A second concern is that park is really used heavily every day now, and a lot of it with kids. There's a elementary school, middle school down the street that come and play, and they're climbing all over the monument signage in the front of the building. This, to us, the way the curving panels connect in, kids are going to climb, step on, either bend up and break or whatever the panels, but more so fall over the edge. And I think it is a safety hazard that the city maybe needs to go back and look at. I know Chuck, you and I talked quickly at the beginning that Park and Rec had looked at that, but the way I see these kids, and we all know kids, and they're not just elementary school, they're middle schoolers too. They're going to climb up there to get a better view. And I think something could potentially happen. So as a designer, if I can make comments like we normally do with artwork presentations, our thought was, again, we love the idea of the red ribbon and its references to the age ribbon. That band that's there right now could be painted red to accent it. And again, the reference back with the cutouts to the people that have passed away. Or this ribbon, new ribbon that could weave through the railing, could look more like a ribbon as a 2 or 3 inch panel instead of a 12-inch panel. A smaller proportion would make it look more like a ribbon. It could be tucked up tight under the existing band and hence be tighter, minimize the curve, because the curve is going to be difficult to incorporate with the curving of the handrail. As it's inside and out, the curving of the panel and the curving of the rail are not always going to mesh or I think not work as the artist may envision it. So if it was a smaller one, it could be tucked up underneath, would eliminate the climbing, standing, falling hazard, and yet still provide that stripe accent color that I think would really set off the existing band. I think that's it. And again, Michael, I appreciate the effort and the design. And I think, like I say, it's an important feature. We think that, from a safety standpoint and maybe from a design proportions piece, that we wanted to make some comments. So
Thank
I'll
you.
leave it at that.
Yes, Ms. Jones? Did you have something to say?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much for that, Wayne. That is the background and everything, because this is my first time hearing about it. And I'm just disheartened that it took this long, but at the same time, I'm excited to be a part of a commission of many firsts. I think we've put in a lot of great things. And so this is another one that I see that it's really great. Now, I didn't understand that piece, that represents the people that have passed from AIDS, that you're talking about that top portion. Yes, I have to say, I love your idea. Of course, that's not, exactly what's happening here, but everything that you say should definitely be considered. And the idea that actually represents the people that have passed, it would be lovely to see it more emphasized, maybe with the red or however you say, but it's a beautiful memorial. And I think what you stated should definitely be considered. So thank you.
Anyone else? I have one more comment about the design. Is there any consideration for lighting in the evening? Will that area be lit up, or at least will the ribbons have some sort of overhead lighting so people will see it?
There's some standard lighting fixtures on throughout the park
Right.
and out on the deck.
Okay, so
existing.
so in the evening, that ribbon or whatever is decided upon.
It's not spotlighted, but it's covered by the
All right,
night lighting.
good, thank
As
you.
far as I've seen it at night, yeah.
Michael, do you have any comments about that? Okay, all right. Yes, Ms. M.A.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for your proposal. I agree with Wayne that the design, the fabrication of the artwork needs a little bit more thought. Because yes, I understand the concept of the ribbon, but it's very abstract in one way, almost too abstract that doesn't look like an artwork, in the sense that it's not inviting you to consider, to remember, to, I think that it's not clear that it is a ribbon. I think it creates like some invites kids, invites people to act on it, to inflict some kind of damage, to pain, to, so I think I would really like to see more thought on the artwork proposal. I think it's relevant. I think we need it. I just think that it needs to be revised. In general, if it's a $50,000 project, you want to invest that amount of money in something that is going to be impactful in many ways. And I think the memorial is needed, but I think the artwork, the material, the design needs a little bit more thought.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments before we vote on the concept?
Can I ask about the financials of the project? I know it's been donated, but how much money has been raised for this? And whether the city at all is going to be contributing in any way?
So just to clarify, it is a gift to the city. So there's no cost to the city except to have it in the Civic Art Collection and maintain it after it's acquired. So my understanding is the task force has raised the $50,000 to be able to fabricate and work through the artists for commissioning, design, transport of the artwork and installation.
So then the follow-up question to the 50,000, and just following up on what Francisco had to say, is 50,000 enough to execute the kind of project that you want to have to, honor the AIDS victims? And as you said, it's one of the only cities of the top 10 cities that doesn't have one of these. We've waited 35 years, and in today's dollars, 50,000, what does that get you? So that's my fundamental question. And once upon hearing this, then I'm going to ask whether the city has potential funds to maybe also contribute in any way. And we make a choice to do that because we do have a reserve for public art.
I'm glad you asked that question, because as one of the commissioners said, this started off with Susan Golding and then Kevin Faulkner. When the AIDS hospice was sold, the commitment was that part of that money would be to establish the AIDS memorial, but the city has not come through on that commitment and on that promise that Mayor Faulkner gave. And we've been told what there's cuts, whatever, but our concern is when we started this was that commitment and the HIV/AIDS community selling that property AIDS hospice with that commitment was very important because it was something from the city to help us and stuff, but the city has not made any or followed through on that. So I would hope, we certainly have been lobbying with Kevin, of course, left office, and now Mayor Gloria, and we have lobbying and that to fulfill that commitment of that sale. I believe the sale was, what was it, 1 million or almost $2 million. And of course, part of it was to be on the park, but there was definitely that commitment that it would help, part of that proceeds would help to make this memorial possible.
So I didn't mean to open up a can of worms, but apparently there is some history here. So I guess at this point, what I would just ask of our committee and of the city is to potentially investigate that. And to figure out, again, my question, the first part of the question wasn't answered. What does 50,000 get us? And is this enough for a public project of a certain impact? Because these are long-term projects. We want them to last generations. And I want to make sure that we don't shortchange this project. It's important for a, big part of our community, especially in that area of town. And so I want to just understand whether we have room in this committee to potentially review that and discuss it behind the scenes, and then come back and have that as a piece of discussion for the next time we review this.
Ms. Jones?
So that's something staff would have to evaluate. We do not currently have funds to allocate for community initiated projects like this. So we'd have to have a conversation with the donor and explore that possibility.
And it certainly can be a conversation we have at the committee, at the overall commission level about, reserve funds that I think we do have to think about for public art.
Thank you.
I just wanted to
Yes,
clarify and actually ask an actual question. Would the artist consider highlighting the first R of the memorial piece, of actually highlighting that in red in a sense? And what would that look like? Is that even possible with the fabrication, and creating a ribbon up against it to highlight the actual pieces that represent the actual people that you're memorializing? Would you even consider that, especially looking at understanding that is like a perfect little thing to stand on, and then it being so thin, that's another perfect thing to cut yourself on, and just in that regard. But I'm just feeling that bar that represents the memorialized people is being ignored. And I feel like it should just be more highlighted. So just wondering if the artist would consider putting that emphasis on the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yes, I think that's the comments made over here about that are great. One thing about having the artistic mind, I was 15 new iterations of what's about to happen. I wish I could just plug us all in like the Matrix and I see it. I also, believe me when I say this is not the first concept for this space. Budget and finances were very limited as this was coming from our side as a gift forward. So I've been working with them. I have things that can go well over $1 million if I put money under. But the point is, this I felt complemented it very well. I think it landed within all the things that Chuck had mentioned. I love the idea of it getting tucked up. I completely did not see his Wayne's perspective. Wayne, my apologies. Sorry. I'm using it as like a mild step, although it was within ADA reach of less than an inch. Like, yeah, I'm a kid, I do that. The point is if it did get choked up and came much closer, and then it also changed in its vertical elevations to mimic more of a ribbon-esque feeling, like if it's flapping in the wind, that could be done with a one-dimensional cut. But it would look like that, right? So I love what you're saying. I love what he said. I mean, this is all how these things come to be at the best case scenario. So if everybody has comments, that's even better because I can manipulate it and redesign it. Again, I'll keep going. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, great.
Of course, that's also going to impact the budget, obviously.
Sort of.
Okay,
It
just
all
curious.
depends, right? Like if it, I will say, I love his idea of it being narrower. I also think it being narrower doesn't quite give it the visual impact from the street side. I like it being at minimum 8 inches, but increasing its elevation and possibly keeping it tighter to the rail vertical post will eliminate that stepping capacity. So again, I'm up here right now, just listening to this, seeing the sculpture evolve. Yes.
Yes, I also, I mean, with the budget, I like your flexibility to work on the design and receive this feedback. You know, maybe it could be shorter. You know, if the installation doesn't fill the whole area, that would be okay too. If it's smaller you know, just so it has more impact and the design is not, yeah, it just represents better what you want to represent. Just consider that, you know, not only wider, but also maybe smaller with other materials or, you know, something that you can play with the concept that is a ribbon in that part with other dimensions that fit your budget as well. That's just a suggestion.
Yeah, and a lot of the budget is being heavily gifted from my side at this point, just basically materials situation. Anyways, I like that idea too. I'm gonna leave today and go play on this and then do it in front of everybody again when it's correct.
In interest of time, I think we should move forward with the.
All right. One second, Ms. Jones, you have something to say?
So is this going to, if he could put the recommendation, there is a motion as second. So I think you have to call a vote and then if,
We're going to call a vote now. Yeah. So let's do a vote.
Can we, sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt, but
go ahead.
what about a proviso for further financial? You know, we can go with this, but I would like some language here that says that we would take a look at the financial aspects of this more deeply.
so you have a vote and a motion just like that. So you have to vote on what's currently on the table.
Okay,
And then if you can make a second motion to
Okay.
that effect, if you'd
I'll
like.
do that then.
All right. Commissioner Hughes?
No,
Okay. Mr. Alcacid?
No.
Okay. Ms. Artiaga?
Abstain.
Okay. Commissioner Doan?
Abstain.
Okay. Mr. MA?
It's a no.
Okay, Mr. Holton?
No.
Dr. Yans?
Abstain.
Commissioner Opstad?
Nay.
Commissioner Robinson?
Abstain.
And I will abstain for further information. Okay,
so now we propose a new motion.
You can
Yeah,
Propose a new
propose.
motion or send it back to staff for further research.
I'd like to just make a new motion so we can move this along.
Mhm.
The same exact recommendation we see here, however, with the proviso that we were going to investigate the financial aspects to figure out whether 50,000 is, you know, adequate enough to execute on a project like this, and if there is any funding potentially available from the city to help augment so that we get a more impactful project. Let's put it that way.
I agree.
So that's what I have. I
That's a
guess
new
need a
motion.
second, yeah.
All right.
Need a second?
Well, do we have to get are you
We need a-
submitting
yeah,
that motion
that
to
was
the
my motion.
first?
That's my motion,
Do
yeah.
we need a second?
I'll
Who
second.
seconds?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Dr. Yance. And so we vote for the entire process again. So Commissioner Hughes,
Yay.
Mr. Alcacid,
Yeah.
Ms. Artiaga,
Yay.
Commissioner Doan,
Yay.
Mr. MA,
Yes.
Mr. Holton,
Yay.
Dr. Yans,
Yay.
Commissioner Opstead,
Yeah.
Commissioner Omani.
It's a yay with a high five to all the commissioners.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I am a yay as well. So there we have it. So explore further to make it better. Is that good? All right. So this segment is, you're welcome to stay if you'd like, or leave. We're going to go to the next presentation.
I just, would it be okay if I make a staff recommendation?
Absolutely.
At this point? So we are technically at time for this meeting. However, this next item is
By everyone, by the way,
if
thanks for
possible,
coming.
it's important that we review this next item so that this can keep pace with the
Yes, I
project.
agree.
So we greatly appreciate, we totally respect if those members of the committee that must leave at this time, but if it's possible to maintain a quorum and that quorum could stay for this item, that would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the next is the presentation for the preliminary artwork idea for Ward Canyon Park by Christopher Fennell. Is it Fennell or Fennell? Fennell. And so Dr. Bullock, do you want to provide an overview?
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner Friedman. So on the screen, we have the age-old familiar artwork development process. So Christopher Fennell has gathered information from the community about Ward Canyon Park, which is where the artwork will be sited. The project overall is a park improvement project. So they're redoing the dog park, the play area, sports courts, recreation center, shade structures, et cetera, and adding public art. The park itself is located kind of at the border of Kensington and Talmadge and Normal Heights. Normal Heights is where it actually is, but it's right at the 15. So if you just went over the 15, you'd be in Kensington from Normal Heights. And so on the screen was an arrow. We're basically back to that ladder. So Chris has gathered information from his Meet the Artist event, which was held at the Adams Avenue Street Fair. He's created a preliminary idea. So your role today is now on the screen, and that's to provide feedback on his preliminary idea. So as a reminder, after he does that, he'll create the schematic artwork proposal, and then we'll have another community engagement event, and then eventually final. So with that, I'll give you a short bio of Chris, and then I'll let him kind of take over. So Chris Fennell builds structural skeletons from discarded or found objects. The materials he chooses have been cast out or devalued by society, and so his selections are based on the kind of message or impact that each piece should convey. One thing that's unique about his background is he also has training as an engineer. So he has kind of both sides and can look at the project from different angles, specifically with regards to things like safety and climbing, things that we're always interested in here. So each piece that he makes is site specific and takes advantage of local histories to create something engaging. So with that, Chris, take it away.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, a little bit louder would be great.
Okay. Can everyone hear me now?
Slightly better, but go ahead.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. I'm not seeing anything other than Charles Miller's screen.
1 second, we're adjusting the tech, but I think he's coming right back.
Hello, Chris. Yeah, just to clarify, everybody
Yes.
can see the presentation as well.
Okay,
So-
great. I can't see it, but I've been over it a bunch. So if you just tell me what slide, I can tell you what's on it.
Okay. Oh, huh. Strange. I am if I'm not mistaken, I should be sharing my screen.
Okay. And maybe
Oh
I'm
yeah, that should,
wrong here. Let's see, gallery.
huh.
Sorry about this.
Okay,
It is the latest, iteration.
yeah, so,
I've been hearing the whole meeting and I can see myself and then I see if I hit gallery, I have Charles Miller. But that's all I've been getting this whole time.
huh. Well, the screen should be shared. I can stop sharing and try sharing again. Or if you have the presentation handy, you could follow, we could go.
I've got it memorized. I've been through it a few times.
Okay, well, so we're just on the title slide now, and we moved on to the research and community engagement slide. So,
Okay. Again, I went to the music festival and I had Kim Emerson and her husband Dennis show me around. And while I was there, I talked to a guy named Paul Coogan, I think. And he started telling me about the history back in the 1920s, where, I looked at Normal Heights, and it existed because they brought in water and they brought the trolley in. And with the trolley, they could go downtown, back forth, and that made the community. In 29 or 26 or something like that, the trolley people came out and started ripping up the rails because they'd sold all the houses, they were done. But one of the residents went out there, shot a shotgun up in the air, got in his pickup truck, parked over the tracks, and said, "You're not taking our trolley. This is how we get to town and back. It's how we make our living." And so he sat there. The mayor came out. They arrested the trolley people that were taking up the rails, and they got to keep their trolley for another, I think, 25 years before buses came in. And so I like that story. And so I thought, okay, material, I want to go ahead and use train rails because they're real important. And I pictured the rails being pulled up out of the ground, and I pictured round. And then I went back and forth, and I'm probably skipping to the next slide now where it says concept.
I'm on the rail dogs, diameter 8, 6, and 4 inches.
So go to the next slide. That's the concept.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, we're on the description of concept slide.
So I was picturing the rails coming up and being peeled upward. And then I thought about the park itself. And if you Google the park, you get tons of pictures of dogs. And so I thought of the dog park that's going to go, right now it's in the back of the park. It's actually going to be over the side. And I also was thinking of the playground, which is what you see there with the kids. And for the kids, I went to thinking about big balls rolling around in the grass and giant ones. And then I pictured these rings rolling. And then I thought about the rings rolling, and I thought, what if they were abstracted dogs? So what if you had these rings of train rail and then 3 of them rolling? And you can go back one slide to the picture of the dogs if that's the one I'm thinking about, that shows these train rails that I'll take and weld together and make sort of a rolling dog chasing its tail, and another one, and then another one.
No, I
So
see
these
it.
3 will be together. Chuck, have you shown him that?
Yeah, and so now I've moved forward to the images of concept slide.
Okay. And I said I know them all.
So it shows the front view and the side view and all 3 of them together.
Okay.
So clear, it's not
And is that the one that shows how they'll be positioned? Oh, that's the drawing one. And
This
that
is
one,
the-
you can see what's interesting with the drawing is how abstract it is and how um, front on, how it'll be this massive thing and it'll be really uh, intense because it's so heavy. It's not a train rail. What's nice is from the road, go to the next slide. Can you go to the one that shows the actual sculpture on the site with the people walking by?
Yeah, that's currently
Far
on.
away one first.
Okay. Which you can sort of see, and if you focus
Right, it's real
on
small. What I want to
the
show here
center.
is people driving by will see these rings and they will be a curiosity and they will look like just rings, big rings out on the field there, um, as they're driving by in their car. The way the traffic works here is there's a street light, so people get stuck there, and so they will see it, and they'll see that it's out of maybe train rails or some sort of steel. I'm hoping this will encourage people to go out, park, come over and walk in, and then they get this experience from the distance of a curiosity, but then they get the experience of when they go in, they'll see it, and as they come up to it, they can start seeing, oh, that's a dog. Oh, those are dogs, because you'll see the face, the paws, and then what'll be really cool is when you get right up next to it, you'll see that they're train rails. You'll see the stamping in the side of the train rail where not only are they train rails, but you could see that they're train rails that have been used, that have a past. And also, there will be a plaque there that tells about, because I'm sure most people don't remember it, the 1929 revolt of the people standing up for their community and fighting for their community. And again, trying to think of anything else you need to know. Oh, safety wise, we've put them together and we're going to do a planning underneath them of the, it's sort of like I think of it like a boxwood, but it'll be something that will keep people, like it will be a visual cue that they need to stay out. They can look at it, but they're not supposed to climb on it. That said, I'm going to go ahead and I will grind everything down and make it so that if someone does climb on it, they won't get hurt. I think what else? Oh, it has 4 lights around it that will light it from underneath so you can see it at night. Laura, am I missing anything?
Maybe Chuck, there is a diagram that's green and it has the light there.
Oh, there
That
you
has
go.
the yellow is the 4 lighting. Maybe just how the park designers are keeping like a historical, they're keeping some historical elements like the cobbles and how your didactic will kind of incorporate those cobbles just to kind of integrate it into the overall design. But that's all I can think of.
Are there any questions? I assume.
Well, I'm Commissioner Imani Robinson, and I appreciate the fact that you were listening in on everything because you answered all of our questions. So very much appreciate it. Also, I'm taking a geography class and I'm learning how important trolleys were to San Diego and how there were so many different trolleys, but I did not get this story. So I also appreciate getting this story. I'm born and raised here in San Diego. I love San Diego and I just love the history of San Diego. So thank you for that. And so you say there's going to be information on that. Where would that be? Is there going to be like a plaque or just
There'll be a plaque that's on the edge. There's a sidewalk that comes in from the corner and goes across, and then it would be on that outside edge. And it'd probably have a QRL code so you could hit that and you could actually see pictures and all. But it would basically what I explained. There might be some history about how Normal got there as well, as far as the Normal College and back.
Right. Okay, I have one more question.
Mhm.
Where is your Last Supper?
That's not him. It's
Oh,
the
that-
other
That's
artist.
the other.
I'm sorry.
I was like,
I read too fast. I mixed you up. I mixed you up because I got excited. But I really love the concept of the dogs. I wish you could see us because we're all shaking our head and we're smiling about the dog concept. So thank you for that. And I apologize for mixing you up.
oh no, that's okay. I was just going, well, I had dinner last night.
Did I? Did I? When did I do that?
Do we have any other further comments from anyone? I do have a comment about the design. It was very difficult for me to determine that was
Can you speak
There.
into the microphone?
there you go. Sorry, I just have a question about the design. For me, it took me a while to see the dogs chasing their tail, which I think is great. Do you think it's a little bit too
Abstract.
abstract for most people to understand? They certainly will not do it from the road, but they'd have to go up there. I'm just saying, just my own personal thing, but any comments from the artist or from anyone here? Do you
Yeah.
think that's,
Actually, if you look at the sketches,
Francisco.
oh yeah,
Sorry, I currently have the slide up images of concept that shows the front
Yeah.
view where you can see the kind of the head on of the dog
Right.
form in the.
yeah, I see it.
I think it will be really obvious when you're
Okay.
standing next to them that those are dogs, just because that face with the ears, and then that tail, and then the paws.
Okay.
uh,
And there's going to be an explanation of what it
Oh,
is,
right.
the concept. Mr. Remy, did you have a comment to make?
No, I just wanted to say that I actually like that they're a little bit abstract rather
Oh.
than a pure representation.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I thank you. I don't think there are any more discussion points here. So thank you so much for your time, Mr. Fennel. We are appreciative of it. Should we move on and find out what are the next steps for this? Do we-
So the next steps are for him to continue working on the design,
Mhm.
incorporating feedback, responding to feedback as he further develops that into a schematic artwork proposal.
Great. Any public comments?
Currently, no members of the public in attendance, no comments received in writing, no virtual attendees.
Great. Well, everyone good? Thank you very much for that. Let's go right to the reports now. Ms. Jones, do you have anything to provide with regards to staff reporting?
Just real quick, just in, because of time. So tomorrow, as you all recall, your last Public Art Committee meeting, you identified some panelists for a new request for qualifications that will be going out for a call for artists for Emerald Hills Park. This is a new, it's a park in existence, but the city's going to be doing a capital improvement at the park. So we will be releasing that call for artists tomorrow. So we'll make sure that you all receive kind of an electronic copy of that via email. So it'll go out obviously through our social as well. So please share that with any artists you might know who might be interested in commissioning, creating an artwork, commissioned artwork. So that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Any public comments for that, Chuck?
No members of the public in attendance, no comments received in writing, and no virtual attendees.
Thank you. And with that, I'm going to mention that our next planned meeting is for Thursday, December 11, and I'm adjourning this meeting at 10:15 a.m. Thank you. Yay.